Hi, welcome back, guys. This is your friend Caller What If with another fiction. What if Deku in love with femme listener? Now, before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. If you more want video like this, now let's get into the fanfic. As you walk down a few back roads with Toga, you can't help but start to feel like this was a bad idea. She was leading you ecstatically, bouncing on her heels, talking a mile a minute. You just bit your lip and proceeded onward. You could swear your ears would bleed any second. Just then, Toga stopped abruptly, and you practically crash into her, stopping just in time. "We're here, tilde," she sang out. You were right next to UA. It was looming over the two of you from just across the street, in all of its stupidity and false glory. "Toga, are you fucking delusional? Are you trying to get us caught? And keep it down, will you? I swear, sometimes it's almost like you want to go to jail." "Got him." You start to get irritated. She just flashes you a devious smile. "Don't you worry, Chan. I've been watching this man for quite a while now. He comes here every day, at 1 p.m., to this very alley, to dispose of his trash. It couldn't be any more perfect," she squealed. You roll up your sleeve to look at your small wristwatch. It's 12:57 right now. You tell her, "See? Just you watch. He'll be dead in 5 minutes, and we'll be out of here in 10. Plus, this isn't too popular of an ally, so I'd give it about an hour or two before they find the corpse. We'll be long gone by then, trust me, Tilda," she giggled, cupping her cheeks in her hands. "I can't wait to taste his blood. It's going to be delectable, I just know it, Tilda," she sighed dreamily. You just scoff. "So long as I get to plunge at least one knife through him before he's totally dead, I'll be satisfied." You groan. "Of course, she smiled at you, as she drew her own knives. "This'll be fun, promised Tilda. She was true to her word. Some of it, at least. 5 minutes later, she was toying with her bloody carcass happily, like a 5-year-old who'd just gotten a new toy. That was probably the age of her mental state too. You certainly wouldn't doubt it. "Isn't he just adorable, Chan?" she babbled, a bit too joyfully. You glance at the corpse, then immediately want to puke. It was a heaping, sprawling mess of bite marks and crimson blood. Yeah, sure. Just hurry it up already. I don't want to be here any longer than I have to." You gag, turning away from the grotesque scene. You were supposed to be on guard, watching to make sure no one saw you. But you felt more like a babysitter than anything. Toga could handle herself. If you'd known that she'd drag you right next to Yua, then you wouldn't have come. Sure, you got to stab the guy, but at what cost? You certainly didn't feel like going to jail anytime soon. "Okay, Toga, could you hurry this up, please? You're so goddamn slow, and I want to get going before you get us both caught, Toga." "Toga," you complain, only to get no response. Confused, you whip around. Then your heart suddenly stops. Shit. Standing on the other side of the alley you were supposed to be guarding, was a small boy, with messy, dark forest green hair, freckles, and large, slightly lighter green eyes to match his unkempt hair. His fare was woven with shock and surprise, but suddenly changed into one of fury and spite. Suddenly, Toga began to panic. Mute it, kill it, do something, hurry," she cried, her voice high and squeaky as she arose, thumbing for her knife. "You think I don't know Thagak," you yelp, jumping out of the way of the green-haired boy as he swung his fist at you. You barely dodge, although his knuckles still graze your cheek. You recoil in pain almost immediately. At first, he looked frail, but clearly, that's not the case. Just his knuckles felt like someone with a strength quirk had slapped me hard. This guy is way stronger than he looks. However, he's still just a kid. Only looks to be about 15. A first year. And judging by the way he tried to attack me, he's still highly untrained. The way he swung at me, so carelessly and recklessly, he gave me a clear opening. You smirk, and then, in a few swift movements, You shove the boy into the brick wall and slam your small dagger right next to his head, purposefully missing, the tip biting into the crumbling mortar. He opens his mouth to speak, only to realize that he couldn't. He reached his hands to his throat, fear drenching his face. You loom over him, snarling. Listen up, kid. I'll give you 2 options. And I'll have you know, we know everything about you, so don't try a thing. So then, option 1. Either you keep your mouth shut and never mention this again, and we won't have any problems. Or, option 2. You can go run your mouth, and we'll murder every last one of your family and friends. Just imagine it, going home to tell your mommy about all of this, just to find her dead on your kitchen floor. How unfortunate, no? So then, what's your choice? You growl at him. You receive no response. Hello? Hello? Answer me, kid. You shove the boy again, his face ridden in terror. He can't answer you. He's still muted, remember Tilda? She giggled. She had already moved the body against the trash bins and was licking some of the blood on her face away. You blink, realizing she was right. Oh yeah, right, you stutter. You quickly release the boy from your quirk, and he gasps, pushing your hand off of his neck. You see the color rush back into his face, and you realize with a start that he wasn't breathing all that time. You'd been choking him. Oh, option 001. He stuttered, still gasping for breath. A and C, could you? B, back away. Why your R really C close? He rasped out. Your eyes widen in shock when you realize that he's right. You are just inches away from his face, meek and timidly glancing at you. His cheeks beat red. You stumble back, a bit shocked. Sorry about that. You glance down, your cheeks feeling hot. The boy glances at you, looking a bit shocked by the fact that you had apologized. Toga giggled. Can I play with him? Please, Tilda. He's so cute, Tilda. She reached for him, but you shoved her back. No, Toga. You just drank. That's enough. Plus, he's a UA student. The other guy was just some random hobo. But this kid, we don't need any more attention. You snarled at her. "'Kay, Finny Tilda. Ugh, you're no fun." She pouted, then turned down the alley and skipped off merrily. You turned back to the boy. Again, sorry about your neck. I didn't mean to choke you. But try anything with us, and next time, you won't end up so lucky. You growled, hoping he believed the threat. It's fine. I'm used to it. Anyways, the choking thing. He glanced down at his feet and chucked a bit of gravel down the alley with his red high tops. What? Used to it? How? You started, but was cut off by Toga's high-pitched, squeaky voice. Come on, Tilda. I thought you wanted to go, Tilda, she squealed. I'm coming, you brat, you yelled back, irritated. You began to leave, but not before stopping and looking back at the still very traumatized boy. See you around, kid, you called over your shoulder. You can report the corpse in 5, just say you found it randomly. Remember, we'll know if you spill anything. Then you turn and leave, acting as casual as possible, but his words still rushed through your mind. What did that kid mean? He's used to being choked. What's going on with him? Does it have something to do with Yua? You were so caught up in your thoughts that you hardly realized Toga shaking the life out of you. Nen-chan, are you alive? What did that green-haired cutie do to you? She cried out to you, breaking you out of your trance. For some reason, hearing her call him a cutie angered you. Don't call him that. You grumbled. She smiled knowingly. What? A cutie? But he is. He's so adorable, I could burst Tilda. She laughed, skipping alongside you, acting innocent, like her didn't understand. Shut up. You can call him that, you yelled at her, feeling your cheeks flush. She just smiled and winked at you. I get it. It's because you like him, huh? She chuckled. You look up at her in shock. What? And no, I don't. Don't be rash, Toga. I've got no time for love. So just shut up for once, would you? You shout, flustered. Oh, don't be silly, and N-chan. I saw you blushing, Tilda. And he was too. Don't worry, I won't steal him, I swear. You two are totally made for one another. It's so romantic, Tilda. A youth villain and a hero in training. It's forbidden love. And a super cute pair. Don't worry, I can help you win him over. All you need are a couple of knives, which I know you've got, and then a syringe. Don't worry, you can borrow one of mine, Tilda. She continued to babble on, but you got lost in your own head. Do I like him? No, he smacked me, remember. She just saw the reddened area on my cheek, that's all. But wait, she was on the other side of me, so she wouldn't have seen it. So that means, was I, your face ridden with realization? And no way. You couldn't like him. No fucking way, right? Izuku's puff. 1 week later. I can't get her out of my head. I reported the body 5 minutes after they left, and played innocent, like that knife girl had said too. I was too timid to do much else though. If what the girl said was true, and they did already know all about me, then they'd definitely be watching me even more closely now that I've discovered them in the act. I want to say something, anything, to anyone. But I can't. Everyone's safety, their lives, they depend on me, and keeping my mouth shut. However, I've never been too good at keeping secrets. They always leak out, one way or another. What if I can't do it? What if I spill something, even if it's by accident? The villains won't care, accident or not. I'll endanger everyone. What if? Deku, please, answer me. Ochako Uraraka practically screams into my ear, breaking me from my trance. Whwa? I fumble, confused. Deku-kun, what is going on with you? Why are you acting like this? She cried out at me, a bit too loudly, causing me to flinch. I looked up at her face, and my heart sunk a bit when I noticed how sad and worried she looked. Her normal, cheery aura was gone, and she looked a bit withered, with small tears budded in her eyes. And nothing's going on, Uraraka-san. I am fine, I started. But she cut me off. Are you sure? Because from what I've been seeing, you're not. Deku, you've been acting so strange lately. You look terrible, like you haven't slept well in days. Getting to classes late, or even skipping, not doing your assignments or homework, slaking off during training, sleeping in class, instead of taking notes as usual. The list goes on. And I'm not the only one who sees that. Everyone in class does, and even the teachers are starting to worry. She started to ramble, tears now pouring from her eyes. Whoa. How long had she been waiting to say something? Was I really that bad? I didn't even notice. All I've been thinking about is keeping my mouth shut. And it's made it hard to sleep or focus on anything else, like my friends or school. But I didn't want to make it seem like I was neglecting them, and my studies and all. But my brain can't handle it right now. Not with all of this current additional stress. Deku, she was screaming and sobbing now. Ida, Todoroki, Bakugo, Kirishima, Kaminari, Tsu, Mina, and several others that I couldn't see were now crowed around me. Please, stop all of this. You keep going back into your head. I glanced at her, starting to get anxious in the tense, strained mood of the area. What is it, Uraraka-san? Were you talking to me? I tilt my head at her in slight confusion. Yes, I was. I am. Deku, please. We can't take much more of this. We miss our happy, sunny, positive Deku. I can't remember the last time you smiled. You keep getting reabsorbed in your own little world. You always have this glazed, distant look in your eyes, like you're here. But you're not really here. You know, we had even convinced Bakugo to try to get through to you, since you've known each other for so long, but you even ignored him. And I had been talking to you just now, and then you just disappeared again. Do you even remember what I'd said? She wailed in distress, trying, but failing to compose herself. And no, not really. I'm sorry. And when did Kaken talk to me? I start to feel even worse, and felt uneasy and jumpy. Like 5 minutes ago, after I'd tried to call out to you. And you don't even remember. She started to look really upset, and it made me lurch. I can't stay here. Not for much longer. I might accidentally spill something. And what if those villains are watching? Just then, Ida stepped forward in front of a now very irritated Uraraka and whispered to her that he would handle it. Then he turned to me. Midoriya, you know that you can talk to us, right? We are always here for you, just like you were always there for us. Right? He asked, hesitant, as if trying hard to pick the right words to avoid accidentally offending me. That was it. All it took for me to snap. And all he did was tell me that I could talk to them. Oh, how wrong he was. It's ironic. No, don't you see? Can't you get it? I can't say anything. I can't. I began to sob in white-hot fury and frustration. Ida and the rest had done nothing wrong, and I was full aware of that. But I couldn't bear the pressure any longer. The tension and anxiety alarms in my mind were flaring right now. I have to get out of here. Kirishima stepped forward. Madabro. No, I don't want to hear it, Kirishima-kun. I am sorry, but I can't tell you anything. I was screaming now, hot tears running down my cheeks, which were probably as red as Kirishima's hair from my anger. Sure you can, Midababe. We're all here for you. We just want the best for you, Mina attempted next. You want the best for me? What do you think I've been doing all along? Do you know how hard it is to keep my mouth shut? I can't say anything. I'll put you all in danger. I'm just endangering all of you. So stay back. Stop trying to pry the answers out of me. Because you know I'll spill it. Then, they'll hurt you. They'll kill you all. I shrieked, my voice hoarse and rough from the crying and strain that I'd been putting on my voice. Then, silence. My eyes went wide as I realized what I'd said. Why, you weren't supposed to know that, I panicked. Damn it! I knew I'd say something. I should have just ran when I got the chance, and avoided all of this. Will they come for us now? I didn't actually say anything about the murder, but now they knew something was up. Crap, what have I done? I have to get out of here. Shit? I accidentally let the word slip, and I said it quite loud too, but I didn't care anymore. I just had to get out of there. I spotted the nearest opening and darted off, before anyone could say a word. Meanwhile, everyone in class stood there, dumbfounded. Then, Shoto Todoroki finally spoke up, breaking the silence. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I heard right, did Midoriya just cuss? He stammered, a bit shocked. I can't believe it. I don't think I've ever heard Midoriya swear in the entire time I've known him. Kiro Sue added. You damn nerd. What the hell is going on with you? Bakugo wondered, actually concerned kinda, though he'd never in a million years admit to it. I wonder what's going on. Who is this they he talked about? Something feels wrong. Very wrong. Denki murmured. Inspov. That stupid greenette is stuck in my head. What the hell did he do to me? Does he have some sort of hidden quirk? Some way of ingraining himself into my mind? If he thinks of this like some sort of sick joke, you chuckle to yourself. He's got another thing coming. You snatch up your back knapsack and fumble to get it over your oversized navy blue almost black hoodie. You hear a familiar, teasing giggle at the bar table, followed by the squeaky turning of a stool. God damn it, not now. I don't have time to deal with Toga right now. You groan in annoyance. Toga, after specifically promising you she wouldn't, went and told the entire league about your blushing escapade. Now, I was all she seemed to talk about, and she'd tease you for it every moment she got. As if she didn't annoy the shit out of you already. Going to see your boy friend Tilda, she chirped. Shut up, Toga. I don't have time for your bullshit right now. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. You snarl at her, expecting her to laugh it off as normal. But instead, you were met with a peculiar stillness. Toga. You whirl around to face her, confused by her unusual silence. You find her squinting at you, a perplexed look upon her face, until her face lit up. You're thinking about him, huh? You can't get him out of your head. Almost like he's stuck in there. Am I right? She asked, her eyes looking distant, as if she were thinking hard about something. What? How? You stutter, stunned by both her calmness and her accuracy. You don't gotta be ashamed about it. It's happened to me too, whenever I fall in love with someone, she said, still unnaturally calm. Oh, so everybody got it. You tried to joke, actually kinda hoping she'd return to normal. Although she annoyed the shit out of you, this sudden, out-of-character side of her was just straight-up creepy. Oh, not everybody. Just some people. Anyways, I know you're going to see him. Been there, done that myself. But just be weary. UA can be tougher than you think, and their security is tight. Not to mention all of the pro heroes on the campus. You just stare at her, gobsmacked. Since when was she giving me advice? And since when did she use words like weary? What the hell is happening? She giggled a bit at your face, but the giggle was more tame, not as insane as her normal, hamster-like laugh. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody that you're going to UA, and I really do promise that. You know I'm a sucker when it comes to love and drama, especially your forbidden love thing that you and that cute green-haired boy have got going on, so I just had to spill. I swear on my next cute boy or girl that walks by me that I won't tell anybody what you're doing. Just make sure that you're back before our 6 p.m. meeting tonight, okay? I won't be able to cover for you then. She gave you a small, earnest smile. Ugh, I can't believe I'm about to do this. You moan. Thanks. Himiko-chan. You tell her, returning her small smile in gratitude. You hadn't called her Himiko-chan in ages, ever since you grew more comfortable with being around her, and realized how annoying she really was. Her face lit a light bulb when you said that. Himiko-chan. You haven't called me that in forever. Does that mean that we're besties again, N-chan? She squealed, returning to her normal, overly giddy self. Sure, yeah, whatever. Don't get used to it. And if you think that I'm calling you that in front of the others, you're dead meat. Got that? You growl at her. But you can't stop a small smile from tugging at your lips. Yup, she beamed back at you. Take care, N-chan. See ya. About 20 minutes later, you arrived at the front gate of UA, the huge building towering overhead, slightly intimidating you. You are quick to brush off your sense of uneasiness, however. Come on, name, don't be a wuss. You need to confront that green-haired boy and get him to deactivate his stupid hidden quirk, or whatever it is. I refuse to believe that whole love shit that Toga raved on about, even though she did seem serious about it. Flashes of the small boy's face flickered about your mind. You remembered the small, sad smile that he'd given you when he mentioned being used to getting choked. A small pang of sympathy tugged at your heart, and you felt bad for the boy. He looked so cute when he smiled. I wish I could have seen him smile happily though. I bet he'd look even cuter then. The thought pops up randomly in your head. Wait, what the fuck? Why the hell did I think that? Ugh, what did that little bitch do to me? I don't like him. I'm not in love. I have no time to be in love. Especially when that person is a hero in training. We would never be able to be together anyways. A small sigh escaped your lips at the realization. Even if you did like him, you could never be. Best to get rid of the feelings now. Excuse me, what business do you have here? Said a sudden, low voice. You whirled around to meet a man with a sloppy mop of ebony black hair, falling over black, dead-to-life eyes, with large bags underneath them, and short stubble around his mouth and jawline. He wore dark, baggy clothing, a pair of faded yellow goggles on his head, and was holding a small book in one hand. Who the hell is this? He looks like a hobo, but wait, he came from the gate entrance. The only way in or out without setting off the UA barrier, is if you have a student ID, staff ID, or visitor's pass. He's definitely too old to be a student, but a visitor would dress better before presenting themselves here. Yet who am I to talk? You look down at your oversized hoodie, slightly ripped leggings, and tattered, light gray Converses. I look like a poor excuse for a thug. Or a hobo, just like him. But he must be a teacher, now that I think about it. You glance at his goggles once more, before it hits you. You look a lot like Eraserhead. No. Are you a fan of him? Oh, yeah, and I'm Hanashi. I am Tilda. I am Hanashi. You tell him, playing innocent, and giving him your alibi name. No way in hell were you giving him your real name. Just to be safe. Why you know about Eraserhead? Not many know about him. He's supposed to be an underground hero. And I suppose I just look a bit like him is all. The man replied. Oh, okay, sorry to assume. You smiled at him, not buying his answer at all. The way he stuttered at first, and that slightly shocked face, as if he was caught off guard. Yeah, he's totally Eraserhead. So, what's your name, you ask, hoping to get more information on him. That's none of your concern. If you must know, however, I'm the homeroom teacher of Class 1A of the Hero course here at UA, and I don't like to see shady people like you poking about the outskirts of the school. He glared at you. So I was right. He does teach here. You smile at him again, feigning innocence. Oh, I needed to see somebody who goes to school here. But I didn't want to step in and set off the UA barrier. So I was just waiting for someone to hopefully come by. You tell him, hoping he'd buy your cheap excuse. Is that so? And who are you here to see? He inquired, one eyebrow raised. Wow, these heroes are more gullible than I'd thought. You chuckled to yourself silently. Well, I don't really know his name. But I do know what he looks like. You chirped nervously. Wait a second. So let me get this straight. You are here to talk to someone who attends school here. But you don't even know their name? He cocked his head at you, eyeing you suspiciously. I know that sounds bad, but hear me out here. I met him at an All Might fan store. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of All Might, and he is too. We talked a lot about him together, and we became good friends. However, we got so caught up in our fangirling that we didn't even exchange names or anything. Heh. You laughed it off sheepishly, hoping to God he'd buy that. Hopefully that green-haired kid likes All Might. Then again, if he wants to be a hero, then I'd bet he does. You bit your lip nervously. And how did you know he went to school here? He asked, not letting up. Well, he was talking about how All Might was his teacher and all, and I knew that All Might worked here, so. You winced, running out of excuses. The man sighed in exasperation. And what did this kid look like? Maybe I know him. You smirked slightly, before masking it with another innocent grin. Well, let's see here. He had messy, dark green hair, slightly lighter green eyes, and a light dusting of freckles. He was also quite tan, and wore very distinct red high tops. And he had the cutest smile I'd ever seen on anybody. You blushed a bit at your description, and looked down at your Converse shoes bashfully. And you weren't lying. His smile was rather adorable, even though you hated to admit it. You could feel yourself falling in love with every passing second. No, you idiot. Snap out of it. You can't fall in love with him. It'll end up being the death of you. You shake your head, clearing your thoughts, before looking up at the man once more. He was flipping through his book, before he stopped on a page and held it out to you. Is this him? Based on your description, Problem Child seems the most fitting. The page displayed a picture of the greenette, looking a tad nervous and jumpy, but a happy smile shone through all the rest. Your heart leapt at the sight of his smile. Why, yeah, that's him. His name is Problem Child? You look at the man, confused. And no, his name is Midoriya Izuku. Aka, Problem Child. He groaned. Midoriya Izuku. You whisper his name in awe. God, his smile. How is he so adorable, Tilda? No, shit. Stop this madness. Name. You're acting like fucking Toga. Damn it. See, can I see him? I need to talk to him more about All Might. You stammer, trying to think of a liable reason for him to let you in. Now, he has classes. The man started, before you cut him off. Please? It's really super duper important. It can't wait. Please, sir? You begged, your eyes practically begging him. Fine. But if you try anything, I'm reporting you to the police instantly. Got it? He glanced away from you, handing you a visitor's pass. Thank you, sir. You won't regret it, I promise. You beam at him. Yeah, whatever. I better not. Now let's go, he said, waving a gesturing hand at you before sauntering through the gate entrance as you hurry to follow him. Phase 1. Enter Yua complete. Now on to Phase 2, making this green-haired motherfucker regret messing with my brain. Ins Puff. The moment you stepped into the building, the air itself seemed to become lighter. The area felt carefree and cheerful, but the air felt stale and musty. It made you want to gag. This positivity. It feels so fake and reused, built upon arrogance. You frown and remember what your mother had said several years ago. It's all so fake. Your love for her is cheap. Anybody can see that you're just putting on a fake smile. This isn't real happiness or real care. You keep her oblivious. I'm the only one that truly loves her. I've made her believe that you really love her. But in reality, you don't give a damn about her. So why are you still here? Just leave us alone. If you're not going to put in an effort and take part in this family, then just leave. We don't need dead weight. I'll care for her on my own. I don't want her near disgusting fakes and cheaters like you. Happiness is fake. It's fabricated. People tell you what you want to hear. They make you think that everything's all right, and that puts you at ease. They call that brief amount of relaxation happiness. But you're not really happy. They just hid whatever was making you miserable. Hid it under the covers. But it will come out, stronger than before. There is no such thing as happiness or pleasure. There is only false truths and daydreams. We're here, Hanashi. Look alive, the man said. The moment the two of you stepped into the room, you flinched on instinct. The room's aura was completely different from the outside. This room felt heavy and miserable, as if carrying a heavy burden, a troubling secret that no one quite knew how to solve. The man grimaced at the silence. It's getting worse, he muttered under his breath. But you could still hear him, amplifying his voice with your quirk, so that only you could hear. You were only just learning that not only could you absorb sound and silence it, but you could also amplify it for only you to hear. Although, you were still training this new ability. All right, problem children, listen up. We have a guest today. This is Hanashi Im, he announced. Hi there. It's really nice to meet you all. I hope we can get along, you say, in a sappy voice. You expected a warm, boisterous welcome, but instead, you only received a few half-hearted smiles and a few side glances from kind eyes. You glanced around the room and noticed Izuku giving you a soft smile, and your heart leaped. However, the moment your eyes met, he seemed to recognize who you were. His smile fell, and he turned paler than a sheet. He shuddered and began to breathe heavily. A few of his fellow classmates glanced at him with worried looks, and the aura seemed to darken even more. I see. So that's what's disturbing the class. Izuku? I wonder what happened. He didn't spill anything, did he? No, I don't think so. I feel as if the class would have mentioned something by now, and Yua would be on alert. But everything seemed fine in the halls. You chuckle awkwardly and look away. A brunette girl with large brown eyes and cheeks tinted light pink cheeks shot him a nervous but sympathetic glance, then piped up. You recognize her as Uraraka Ochako, the girl that Toga fawned over when she was mutilated by Bakugo Katsuki, the ash-blonde firecracker that Handjob wanted to recruit. Is so, what are you here for, Hanashi-san? she quivered. She seemed drained, and much less confident than when participating in the sports festival. In fact, they all seemed weary and exhausted. This isn't the same class won it as the festival. They've lost their spark, their pizzazz that set them apart at the UA festival. Quickly remembering that girl had asked you a question, you spoke up. Oh, don't worry. I'm just here to have a friendly little chat with one of your classmates here. Midoriya Izuku, to be precise. And, please, call me I am Chan. We're friends now. No. You respond hastily. You have to get on their good side while you can. The more they trust you, the better. Although you were here for Izuku, it wouldn't hurt to gather some intel on Class 1A. Oh, yeah. Friends, thanks, I am Chan. She smiles nervously, but clearly, she's not focused on you. Her gaze, along with the rest of the class, has drifted to Izuku, who went whiter than a ghost when he heard his name. He began to hyperventilate a little, and stood up abruptly, knocking over his chair. No, but you can't. I didn't say anything. I swear, I didn't say anything. Please. He began to beg and plead with you, hyperventilating even more. He clutched his chest, before slowly sinking to the ground. Half of the class had arisen from their own seats, including their teacher, and had rushed to his aid, crying out to him and calling his name. You heard a mixture of Midoriyas or Midoriya-kun, but you also heard Midabro, Midababe, and the oddest name of them all, Deku. A mixture of other words and phrases arose as well. What happened? Is he okay? Midababe, talk to us. Does this have something to do with yesterday? Guys, I think he fainted. What was that? Did he have a panic attack? Midabro, come on, say something. Somebody get him to Recovery Girl's office. Deku-kun, hang in there. Midoriya-kun, please. This really isn't funny. Shocked, you rush over as well. I'd expected him to jump once he realized who I really was. But I didn't think that he'd panic like that, much less faint. Debbie, what happened to him? You stammer. Is this normal? Is he going to be all right? You feel a soft hand on your shoulder, and you whirl backward to meet a formal-looking girl, with her sleek black hair pulled into a ponytail, with a few tufts of it hanging down on the side of her head. You recognized her as well, but couldn't recall her name. But she, too, looked worse than during the festival. Her hair was slightly frayed, and, like the rest, she had bags under her eyes. Oh, I apologize for startling you. I am Chan. I'm Yaoyorozu Momo, Vice Class Representative. But you may call me Yao Momo. And as for Midoriya-kun, he's been like this recently. Although he's never fainted before, he did have a bit of a predicament yesterday. I even heard that he had swore in front of everyone. Although I wasn't there. You'd have to speak with the others. You'd probably have the most luck with talking to Todoroki Shoto, since he's Midoriya's closest friend. You could also talk with Bakugo Katsuki. He's known Midoriya since childhood. Only they could tell you more. She attempted a tight smile, but the worry shone through nevertheless. Thanks, Yao Momo. I'll look into it. You reply softly. Time skip tilde. Izuku is resting in Recovery Girl's office, being closely monitored after his accident. They've dubbed it. It's about 6 in the evening, and most of the students in class 1 have gone home. All except for Bakugo Katsuki, who seemed to insist on staying until he woke up. Or, as he had put it, I'm staying here until that damn nerd gets up. And if you've got a problem with that, then you can drop dead, for all I care. Why does that make me feel so irritated? Why should I even care? So the kid's worried about his childhood friend. That's perfectly normal, so why do I feel like I want to plunge a knife through his heart? Ugh, I sound like Toga now. Her insane version of logic is rubbing off on me. Speaking of Toga, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Something important. Was I supposed to be somewhere? Who cares? If it's Toga, then I can't be that important, right? Oi. You gonna just sit there and stare at him, you freak? A sharp, angry tone pierced the air. What did you just call me? You snap out of your trance and glance up at the ash blonde, with his ruby eyes glaring into you. It wasn't just his quirk that was explosive, but his overall personality and attitude. And his ego. Yeesh. Remind me why Handjob wanted this Pomeranian again. What did you say? Extra? You wanna die? He sneered. Are you deaf from overusing your quirk? You failed knockoff of a firecracker? I said. What did you just call me? You return his snarkiness, and he looked a bit shocked by your response. So, he's not used to people standing up to him, huh? Well then, this'll be fun. You smirk at him and chuckle. Huh? What are you laughing at? I'll send you straight to hell, he shrieked. Meppy, I already know I'm going there anyways, so, you respond casually, with a dismissive wave of your hand. Huh? He looks at you, confused. You laugh, and change the subject. So, why are you here? From what I heard, you don't care about Izuku. You sigh, turning your head to look over his tranquil face, and you feel a soft blush seep into your cheeks. He looks so peaceful, like a sleeping prince. You swoon, before realizing what you had just thought. Shit, tea's getting worse. I don't even like those sappy fairy tales. Ugh, what the hell is wrong with me? Bakugo looks over at you and notices your facial features before scowling. You've got a thing for shitty Deku, don't you? You scoffs, turning away. Your face turns bright red, but not from blushing. From rage. You grab Bakugo's wrist with one hand, his arm with another, and before he could think, you'd flipped him over and pinned him to the ground. Hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Gee, get the hell off of me, he groaned in pain. Call my Izuku that one more time, I dare you. You growl. Then, you release your grip, stand up, and haul him up as well. You're Izuku. Deku doesn't belong to anybody. If anything, Deku is mine. You got that? And I just came here to make sure that he woke up okay. He's always so reckless, breaking all his bones and shit. But this is different. And I get the feeling that you're a part of why he fainted. Just know that I don't trust you. I know you're up to something. Don't you dare touch to Izuku, or I'll end you. You got that? He says, seeming rather calm all of the sudden, like Toga was. Shit. What is it? Bakugo glances up at you, puzzled. I totally forgot about the meeting. Oh, Himiko-chan's gonna kill me. If Handjob doesn't first. You gasp, and take off, not even caring that you probably just exposed yourself. You did. But that's in a later chapter. Then, you storm off into the late evening, terrified for what awaits you at the bar. Kurogiri's Pavar mystery character. I steadily work away behind the bar counter, pouring Shigaraki another drink. He seems awfully pissed at the moment, more so than usual, and I've got a hunch on why. LN was supposed to be here at 6 for their meetup. It was already 6:47. Toga had been looking rather anxious and seemed irritated about something, but when I inquired about it, she seemed jumpy and startled. Oh, did I? Sorry, Tilda. I was just thinking about something. At a new gal that I saw down the street. She's super pretty, Tilda. She gave me one of her signature ear-to-ear grins, but I saw right through it. That wasn't the real reason. Also, can we take 2 seconds to appreciate that Himiko-chan is bisexual? I honestly really love that about her. She's not like all the other psycho yandere girls who are normally just obsessed with a male. I really like that about her. Okay, back to the story. She gave a feeble laugh. How about we change the subject? Tilda, she twittered. By now I was sure she was hiding something. This new attitude. It wasn't at all like her. Something is up. She knows where LN is. But, by her response, she's clearly trying not to give anything away. I smile lightly to myself. She might annoy the hell out of LN, like she claims, but I know LN sees her as more. I even heard LN call Toga squeal about LN calling her Himiko-chan again, apparently just after she'd left. Below the surface, they really are the best of friends. They act like sisters even. Actually, when you think about it, they are. We are all one big broken, but functional family, really. He smiled and remembered 2 years ago. Ever since we took LN in and adopted her into our family, Toga had been so excited to have another girl in the love. Even though she was 2 years younger, they bonded so quickly. In fact, they started to call each other by their first names, or even nicknames. They started to not even treat each other like siblings, but even started to say that they were adoptive sisters. Those two are the perfect embodiment of siblings, even if not blood related. Each one is so protective of the other. I've no doubt in my mind that they'd kill anyone who hurt one of them. That's why LN goes everywhere with Toga, despite knowing how stupid it might be, because, deep down, she truly cares for her sister. Even though she might be 2 years younger, she's definitely the more worrisome one, while Toga is more ambitious. They truly are amazing, and it's wonderful to see how they grow. They move apart from one another, then they come back together, their bond stronger than before. It's truly a sight to see. I was so lost in thought about the past that I didn't notice LN bust through the door, looking quite disturbed. Toga's face lit up in relief, and she let out a breath she didn't seem to realize she was holding in. I see. Toga always seemed so carefree, not caring if others were harmed. But when it came to her sister, she panicked. I don't blame her. Just then Toga's face scrunched up in anger, and she glared at her adoptive younger sibling. But when she saw LN's face, her face fell into one of worry. I noticed it too. Her face was ridden with worry, anger, and her orbs were filled with what seemed to be wistfulness. But they also held jealousy. What had happened? And what did Toga know? Oh, and N-chan, you're late. I warned you about this. I told you I couldn't cover for you, Tilda. Toga sighed in disappointment. Sorry, Himiko-chan. LN responded, looking forlorn. She clearly wasn't in the mood to chat, although I was surprised to hear her call Toga by her first name, and everyone else seemed to be too, as they all turned to face the drooping 15-year-old. Even Shigaraki. Name, talk to me. What happened? Does it have something to do with the broccoli-headed boy? She inquired. This made LN look up in shock, as if she'd just shared private information. She most likely had, although she didn't seem to care. LN heaved a heavy sigh. Yeah, he fainted almost instantly after I said that I was there for him. And Yao Momo said that he seemed really on edge ever since last week, most likely when we first met him. Do you think that I really scared him that bad? I mean, Tilda. You did threaten to kill him and everyone he loves and cares about. Choked him, although on accident, and almost stabbed him with a dagger. So Tilda. She cringed, pulling her mouth into a tight, thin line. The rest of us all stood there, shook. What was going on? It was as if they'd forgotten that we were in the room, and were talking about something that we had no idea about. All we heard was about LN almost killing somebody, and threatening to kill others. Although that may seem normal for a villain, it actually wasn't for LN. And we all knew it. She never killed unless she really had to. She would only stab them a few times and wound them. But she wasn't known for killing, much less administering death threats. I look over to see that Toga had pulled LN into a tight hug, worry and sympathy drenching her facial features, as LN sniffed. She looked ready to cry. What was going on? Finally, Dabai stepped up, breaking the odd silence. Okay, what the hell is going on? What broccoli-headed boy? Have you been seeing someone? Name? He sneered, venom dripping off of every syllable. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, Toga wasn't LN's only sibling. Although she got along with Toga best, Dabai, Twice, Spinner, and even Shigaraki all saw her as a little sister. Mr. Compress was more like an uncle to LN than anything. and they all had their own sibling-like traits for LN. Toga was the ambitious one and closest to LN, as I've already established, but Dabai was most definitely second in line. He took up the role of overprotective older brother the moment they first met. He'll kill anybody who makes her cry, and I've seen it happen. And no boyfriend a friend that is male is safe. But he is also very gentle, and at least somewhat kind toward her. Twice is this supportive older brother, or at least half of him is. The other half says he doesn't give a damn. But recently, Twice has been working hard to push down that side whenever he's around her. Spinner is the fun older brother, who always spends time with LN, loves training with her, and will always make sure that she's safe. But, for the most part, lets LN live her life. Then there's Shigaraki Tamura, the casual, but determined devoted older brother. A side to him I never would have imagined that I'd see. He always plays video games with her, if he doesn't disintegrate the controller when he loses to her, and tries to act as if he doesn't care for her when others are around. But I know that he really, truly does have a soft spot for her behind the scenes. He would never dare hurt a hair on her head, and if anyone tries so much as to lay a single finger on her, he'll turn them to ash before you can blink. Like I said, we're a perfect embodiment of a broken, but functional family, and nothing can change that. The five of them would give their life for her, and as would she. No doubt in my mind about that. Name, are you seeing someone? He asked again. I'll fucking kill them for making you upset, Dabai began. And no, don't hurt Izuku. It wasn't him. It was just Baku bitch being a retard is all. But I handled it, so you don't need to. She replied defiantly. Twice chimed in. Izuku? Like Midoriya Izuku? The bone breaker at Ua? That Izuku? And Baku bitch. Sounds an awful lot like Bakugu. No, it doesn't. Who also goes to Ua? He put the pieces together. Anything underlined when Twice is talking is his second half. You went to Ua? Dabai scowled, picking up on Twice's thoughts. You dumbass, what were you thinking? What if you were caught? You would have no. You did put us all at risk. Spinner looked disappointed. Sis, why? You need to be more careful. We all know that you can be reckless. He chose his words carefully, not to mention overdramatic over the slightest things. Shigaraki mumbled in rage. Guys, come on, don't, Toga started. They're right, name. You really ought to be more aware. Mr. Compress stated, cutting Toga off. Why would you tell Toga, but not us? What good does she do you, other than being a cover, and a bad one at that? And Toga, why didn't you tell us? Dabai exclaimed. I don't have to tell you shits anything, she shouted, her normal, cheery voice gone, now to reveal an angry, low one, and I was surprised to hear her swear. Meanwhile, I noticed LN begin to lose her temper. And as the angry voices, shouting in protests from Toga, eventually she burst. Shut up. Just shut the hell up, all of you. Got him. This is exactly why I didn't tell you anything. Because I knew you all would be like this. Ugh, she shrieked at them, before storming down the hall, and slamming the door to her small room so hard, you could hear the wood splinter. Everyone else stood about the room, unsure of what to do or say next. Toga sighed. You guys were too harsh with her. I'm gonna go talk with her, Toga began, but I stopped her. I wouldn't do that. I told her calmly. Okay, what is with everybody cutting me off? Let me finish my thoughts here. People, she cried out, clearly disturbed. Toga, please. LN needs time to figure all of this out for herself. It's kind of you to try and assist her, but she clearly doesn't know what to feel about all of this herself. And all of you crowding and overstimulating her with your own opinions isn't exactly helpful. Just give her some time to herself. You tell the fuming teenage girl. HHMPH? She turns away with a small scoff, before throwing herself onto a bar stool and taking out one of her favorite hand knives. Meanie Tilda, she murmurs, fiddling with her blade. You slam your door shut, hearing it splinter slightly behind you, but you don't care. You dive into your bed, grab your surrounding pillows, and build a fort on top of you. Slowly, in the comforting darkness of your fort, you feel your breathing slow, and you calm yourself. Relax, name. They didn't mean it. They were just worried for you, was all. And Himiko-chan was even still trying to defend you, remember? So relax. Deep breaths. You console yourself. Just then, you hear your door open softly. Name, are you all right? A voice says. You emerge from your pillow fort, wiping away the residue from your tears. Why, yeah, I'm fine. You force a smile. It was Spinner. He had a worried look on his face, clutching the door handle. Sis, you know I hate to see you so upset. And I talked to the others for you. I get we all kinda overreacted. We're just worried about you. What if you got discovered, he said, with a pained look on his face. I know it was risky, but I had to see him, you murmured. That Izuku guy? He inquired. You jumped when you realized what you'd said. But he gave you a soft smile. You know that I won't judge you, right? For the most part, I don't care what you do or where you go, and you know that. But I do like to know why. He gave her a feeble smile. I don't know. He's just stuck in my head. And I was hoping to talk to him and maybe get him out of my mind, but he fainted before I got the chance. You heard footsteps approaching you, and then felt him gently pulling the pillows away, revealing your slightly tear-stained face. He smiled sympathetically, with a knowing look in his eyes. You like this guy, don't you? He said quietly. Immediately, you felt your face flush as Izuku's face flashed through your mind. And no, I don't. What drugs are you on? You reply brashly, hiding your face in a nearby pillow. But Spinner's expression didn't change. That's just the tsundere talking Tilda, he teased, before being cut off by a pillow to his face. Shut up, would you? I don't like him. I think. You trail off as you begin to process everything. How you blushed when you saw or thought of him. How you had random thoughts about him. Heck, you even called him mine during your fight with that boom boom boy. Do I actually like him? No, but that's crazy. I'm a villain. And he's a hero. He could never love someone like me anyways. You sigh, then look up at Spinner, who was watching you patiently. You're really bad at hiding your crush on this Izuku dude. You know that, sis. He chuckled lightly. E.A.? What do you mean? You stammer, confused about his sudden statement. Well, you're redder than a tomato at the moment, he laughed. You turn over quickly to your nightstand and grab up a small hand mirror. You were indeed beet red. You sigh and turn to face your brother. Guess there's no hiding it, huh? You giggle nervously, but it slowly fades as your face droops. He could never love me anyway, though. I'm a villain after all. You glanced down at the statement. Even though you knew it to be true, it still stung. Spinner placed a sympathetic hand on her shoulder. Have you asked him? You look up at him, dumbfounded. Ask him. Are you insane? What if he rejects me? He grinned. Well, you never know until you try, right? You opened your mouth to speak, but hesitated. What if he was right? You tried to imagine what it would be like to be with him. But instead, all you came up with was his pale face as he fell to the ground, unconscious. He fainted when he saw me. He's terrified of me. You looked away in shame. Spinner grinned. Well, take things slow with him then. Just focus on fixing your relationship and build up from there. Wait. You're letting me go back to you, huh? You stare at him, bug-eyed, trying to process what he had said. He smiled. I've already said, I don't care where you go or what you do, for the most part. Just be safe. And be careful. I know you can handle yourself. but you have the tendency to spill things you don't mean at times. You smile brightly before hugging him. You're not exactly sure why, but you feel so happy. Happy that he's supporting you. Happy that you'll be able to see Izuku again. Happy that you just might have a chance. Thank you so much. I'll make sure none of the others mess this up for you. But I am going to tell them the truth. But for now, relax. You can go tomorrow. He smiled, lightly hugging you back. Tilde 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 tilde, the next day, tilde 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 tilde. Deku's puff. I woke up in a blindingly bright room, feeling stiff, and with a massive headache. Ugh. What happened, recovery girl? Oh no, did I break my bones again? I'm sorry, Recovery girl held up a hand and shook her head. You fainted, my dear. A young girl named Hinashi Im came to visit you, and you passed out at the sight of her. Are you okay? Do you know her? I bit my lip, yesterday's events returning to my mind. That girl. A sweet smiled menace. But she looked genuinely worried when she saw me. Did I really look that bad? Was she actually worried? Or was she just faking it? Recovery girl smiled. Dear, you're mumbling again. I jumped, returning to reality. Oh, was I? Sorry. Although, do you know where that girl is now, Hinashi, wasn't it? She nodded. Yes, Hinashi I am. And I believe she said she'd be returning to see you today, but I'm not certain. Just then, Aizawa-sensei came in. With the girl. She had the same smile, but she looked a bit more weary this time. A little less certain. But of what? We have a visitor for you, problem child. Hinashi. Don't kill him this time. Aizawa-sensei groaned and walked out, and Hinashi laughed nervously, but it died shortly after. Recovery girl smiled kindly and went toward the door as well. I'll leave you two in peace. Call if you need anything, dears. With that, she also left. Hinashi turned to him and smiled nervously. Hi, you're Izuku, right? I scowled. That's Midoriya to you. I don't trust you nearly enough for you to call me one a first-name basis. In fact, scratch that. I don't trust you at all. Her smile faltered, and she looked down. I can respect that. I wouldn't trust me either. I frowned, continuing my dark humor. Well, good on you. I wouldn't trust the person who strangled me either. She looked up, a look of anguish on her face. Look, it was an accident. I didn't mean that. I didn't want to hurt you like that. I only wanted to scare you. I didn't know I scared you to the point where'd you pass out at the sight of me. I sighed. She did seem sorry. But that didn't change who she was. Who are you really? She looked up, slightly startled. I'm Hinashi Aya. I cut her off. I know that's not your real name. I'm not an idiot. What's your real name? If you want me to trust you, then tell me the truth. She sighed. Then, you need to promise you won't tell anyone. My eyes widened slightly. She was really going to tell me, but I nodded. I promise. She took a deep breath. I'm Ellen in Aka Mute Murderer. My eyes went wide. The Mute Murderer. You've killed dozens. She looked troubled. It's HHH. And I've actually only ever killed 2 people. Those other people either get killed by the others, or they bleed out because they refuse to help themselves. I never hurt them enough for them to die if they help themselves, and take what I give them. I give her a look. What do you mean, take what you give them? She sighed in defeat. I always leave a first aid kit in a nearby room, and in plain sight. I sometimes even tell them that it's there. But, of course, they don't believe me, or they think it's been drugged or something. I stare at her in shock. So, you hurt them, but you leave them a way to heal themselves. and without any traps. She nodded slowly. I'm supposed to be a villain, so I get that it's unbelievable, but for some reason, I just can't help myself. I have to be a villain. I have to repay the love. They took me in and cared for me. We're basically a family now. And she covered her mouth. Shit. Spinner warned me that I'd say too much. I just stared at her. She was a villain. To repay the love as thanks. Then we're her family. Wow. So, how old were you when they rescued you? She looked away, almost ashamed. 13. 2 years ago. I sat there, dumbstruck. Wait. You're 15? I thought you were like 19. She laughed a little. I get that a lot. But yeah, I'm only 15. Sorry. I gave her a look. Sorry? For what? She blinked. Ooh, I don't know. I laughed a little. Well, what now? She blushed a tad. Well, you didn't faint this time? That's a first? And, well, I wanted to be friends, but I stopped her. Oh, we are not friends. Her blush disappeared, but she nodded. Yeah, I know, trust me. But maybe acquaintances? I hesitate, but nod, and hold out my hand. Acquaintances. She smiles, looking genuinely happy, and shakes my hand. Let's consider this as a fresh start. I'm Ellen in Chu, but please address me as Hanashi. I am in the presence of others, especially out in the open. I hope we can work together. I nod. I'm Midoriya Izuku, but if you'd like, I suppose you can call me Deku. It's nice to meet you, Hanashi. She smiled brightly, and I couldn't help but give a small smile back. Huh. Maybe. This won't be so bad. Ins puff. It's been 2 months since you started things over with Izuku, and things have been going well. After 2 weeks of gruesome hell trying to persuade Nezu and the teachers to allow you to go to UA, accompanied by unexpected help by Izuku at the end, they finally gave in and allowed you to take a modified version, the entrance exam. A training camp that lasted 5 days, and for every one of those 5 days, you wanted to die. You slept barely 3 hours a night, and all you ever did was train, study, and test. By the end of it, every single one of your limbs wanted to fall off. But then, the news came in. Hanashi, congrats. You passed. You'll be in Class 1A as an exception student. You didn't pass by much, but you passed regardless. And that was all that mattered. At first, you didn't find much interest in the whole hero study concept. But watching Izuku get so fired up whenever All Might walked in, or a hero defeated some random villain, got you excited too, and you began to invest yourself further. You hadn't noticed it at the time, but you were slowly getting closer with the other students, from playful bickering with Katsuki, pulling pranks Zero and Denki, gossip hunting with Mina, playing the guitar with Kyoka, drinking tea with Momo, and even performing rituals with Takoyami. You and Izuku were getting closer, too. A little after a month, he forgave you for choking him, and a week later, he even formally accepted you into the Deku squad. And as the bond between you and Izuku grew stronger, so did your feelings for him. It took everything you had not to blush when he complimented you, much less turn into a tomato when Mina coincidentally pushed him into you. You and her had a fun chat later that day. Eventually, you even found yourself subconsciously doing things just to get closer to him. Study sessions, fangirling over his All Might merch, even getting his number just to send him weird-ass memes at 3 in the morning when you couldn't sleep or were bored, which he actually didn't mind. But you know what they say. Nothing good lasts forever. Name. Are you fucking alive? You yelp and fall out of the bar stool as Shigaraki screams in your face. Damn it, Shiggy, what the hell? You glare at him, slowly and painfully standing from the filthy ground. Shigaraki scowled. I've been calling your name for the past 15 minutes, damn it. What the hell has got you so up in your head? Is it that Izu bitch again? You frowned, more irritated at the fact that he was insulting Izuku than disturbing you. Don't call him that. It's Izuku. Leave him out of this. Toga sighed, fidgeting with her knife nervously. And En-chan, this is getting worrisome. I'm sorry, but Shigi's right. All you ever care about is Izu nowadays. And you're hardly ever around because of how much time you spend with him. We get that you like him, but you're not even participating in our missions anymore. Do you not want to be a villain with us anymore? You go to speak, but then pause. It was true. You couldn't remember the last time that you spent full-on, genuine quality time with them, without Izuku on your mind, and you hadn't been on a mission with them since you joined UA. Did you even want to be villain? You seemed to be feeling more and more comfortable around heroes, and even started cheering when the villains were defeated. It almost felt like you were betraying them. The love is my family. This bar is my home. But UA is my school. And those hero students are my friends. One of them, my crush. What am I doing? I'm going against everything I know. The love took me in, when society cast me out. Why should I care for the heroes? They mean nothing to me. All that matters is Izuku. Fuck the rest of them. Izuku is the only reason I'm doing all of this anyway. You sigh, turning to Toga. I'm a villain. I'm sorry. I'll be more considerate, and spend more time with you all. Toga nodded, looking a bit more reassured, but not fully. Dabai, however, frowned. Prove it. Help us lead an attack on UA. You know the place inside and out now. You'll be our ticket in. The heroes won't know what hit them. You hesitate once more. Attacking UA, the place that you felt so comfortable in now felt weird, but understandable. You had an advantage now. No one knew who you really were, and you could easily find weak points and opening to attack. Fine. This Thursday, Midnight and Aizawa-sensei aren't going to be there. Midnight-sensei has an important shooting for a commercial, and Aizawa-sensei has a mission in another city. We can strike then. Shigaraki's eyes widened. So soon? Are you sure? If we get caught, you cut him off. We won't. I know a way we can get in undetected. Trust me, no one will suspect it. I'll just be out sick that day. Besides, the only person who knows my identity there is Izuku, and I'm sure he won't say anything. If he was going to, he would have already done so. My only condition is that you don't hurt Izuku, or kill any of my classmates. You can rough them up a little, but nothing fatal. And don't touch Izuku. Got it. They groan, seeming reluctant, but nod. Dabai rolls his eyes. Fine. I won't touch your broccoli boyfriend. Knowing him, he'll break his own bones. You sigh, only half amused by his joke. I can't deny that part. Unfortunately, Thursday it is then. For some reason, you couldn't stop thinking about the attack you had planned. Looking around at your new class, your new friends, imagining them hurt and fighting another group of people that you also cared for pained you. And your stress clearly seemed to show, because several of your classmates questioned you about it, even Katsuki. Just then, Izuku came up to you during a free study period. Hinashi-san. Can we talk? Izuku looked worried, concerned. Whatever it was, it didn't look like a good emotion to have. You hesitate, before giving him a small nod. Sure. What a bugak. Izuku takes your arm, pulling you outside of the classroom, and into the hallway. After checking to make sure no one was around, he spoke again. Ellen, answer me. What's going on? And don't even try to deny it. I'm not blind. There's clearly something up with you. You hesitate for a moment, trying to decide if you really wanted to tell him. But then again, this was Izuku that was asking. Could you really lie to him? Izuku. It's the love. We're supposed to attack UA this Thursday. Sigh. How did I ever get myself stuck in this situation?